Have you ever bitten into a fresh Hong Kong egg tart? You know the sensation. That shatteringly crisp, buttery pastry shell, followed immediately by the warm, silky, sweet custard filling. It's comforting. It's delicious. But it is also, quite literally, history on a plate. Hong Kong is a city that runs on food. But if you look past the dim sum and the roast goose, you'll find a sugary subculture that tells the story of the city better than any history book could. We're talking about a dessert scene that evolved from ancient medicinal soups to colonial experiments, all the way to the Instagram-famous bubble waffles you see in London, New York, and Sydney today. How did a rocky island turn into a global powerhouse of sweets? How did Portuguese tarts, British puddings, and Cantonese traditions collide to create something entirely new? In this video, we are going deep. We're exploring the evolution of Hong Kong desserts. We'll uncover how war, trade, and even the plague shaped what people eat for dessert. We'll look at how the Cha Chaan Teng revolutionized dining for the working class. And we'll find out why a simple waffle is now a global symbol of identity. Grab a snack. Let's dig in. To understand where we are today, we have to go back. Way back. Before the neon lights and the skyscrapers, the foundation of Hong Kong's sweet tooth was actually medicine. It sounds counterintuitive, right? When we think of dessert today, we think of guilty pleasures or sugar rushes. But in traditional Cantonese culture, the line between food and medicine is incredibly thin. In the pre-colonial era, sweets weren't just about indulgence. They were about survival and balance. This is the era of the Tong Sui, literally translated as sugar water. But don't let the simple name fool you. These soups were complex. They were built on the principles of traditional Chinese medicine. The idea is that the body needs to be balanced between yin and yang. If you had a heaty constitution or it was a hot, humid summer, you didn't just eat ice cream. You ate mung bean soup to cool your system down. If it was winter or you felt weak, you ate red bean soup or black sesame paste to warm the body and nourish the blood. Think about the ingredients. We see things like jujube dates for prosperity, longan fruit for relaxation, and lotus seeds for fertility. These weren't random choices. Every bowl carried a wish. And here's the crucial part: consumption was communal. These weren't grab-and-go snacks. Recipes were passed down from grandmothers to daughters, not through cookbooks, but through muscle memory. Standing over a pot, stirring for hours, that was the bonding ritual. This phase one of Hong Kong dessert history established something important that still exists today: texture. Western desserts often prioritize fluffy or crunchy. But Cantonese desserts prize distinct textures, the Q texture, that bounce and chewiness you find in glutinous rice balls, or the smooth, coating mouth feel of almond cream. So, we have a culture deeply rooted in health, symbolism, and family. But in 1841, everything changed. The British arrived, and they brought their pudding with them. When the British colonized Hong Kong, they didn't just bring their laws and architecture, they brought their cravings. They wanted their afternoon tea, their custards, and their cakes. But here is where it gets interesting. The ingredients available in Hong Kong were different. The flour was different. The sugar was different. And, crucially, there was a third player in this game, the Portuguese, nearby in Macau. Let's talk about the heavy hitter, the egg tart, or dan tat. If there is one item that represents Hong Kong, this is it. But its origin story is a perfect example of globalization before the internet. You might think it's just a Portuguese pastel de nata, right? Well, not exactly. The Portuguese tart has a caramelized, almost burnt top and a very salty, flaky crust. The classic Hong Kong tart evolved to be smoother, glossier, with a cookie-like crust or a flaky pastry that used lard instead of butter, because butter was expensive and hard to keep fresh in the tropical heat. It was a hybrid, a British custard texture, a Portuguese concept, executed with Cantonese techniques. But the tart didn't become an icon just because it tasted good. It became an icon because of who was eating it. By the 1940s and 50s, Hong Kong's population was exploding. You had refugees fleeing war in the mainland. You had a booming manufacturing sector. The city was moving fast. People didn't have time to sit around for 3 hours boiling red bean soup. They needed energy. They needed calories. And they needed it cheap. The egg tart was the perfect solution. It was portable. It was affordable. And it felt like a luxury, a little taste of the Western high life that the average factory worker could actually buy. This era also gave us the bakery classics. Have you ever had a pineapple bun? Fun fact, there is absolutely no pineapple in a pineapple bun. It's named that because the sugary, crusted topping looks like the skin of a pineapple. This is the genius of Hong Kong bakers in the mid-century. They were resourceful. They took cheap ingredients, flour, sugar, lard, eggs, and engineered them into things that looked beautiful and tasted rich. They created the cocktail bun, filled with a paste made from leftover bread scraps, sugar, and coconut. Nothing was wasted. This spirit of making do and mixing cultures birthed the most important culinary institution in the city, the Cha Chaan Teng. The Cha Chaan Teng, or tea restaurant, is the heart and soul of Hong Kong dining. In the 1950s, Western food, steak, coffee, cakes, was reserved for the colonizers and the wealthy elite. The average local couldn't afford to dine at the Hong Kong hotel. So, local entrepreneurs said, fine. We'll make our own version. They took Western dishes and localized them. Coffee became distinctively strong. Tea was mixed with evaporated milk to make silky milk tea. And French toast? Oh, they took French toast to a whole new level. Hong Kong French toast is deep-fried. It's often stuffed with peanut butter. It's drowned in syrup or condensed milk. It is an unapologetic calorie bomb. This environment, the Cha Chaan Teng, became a laboratory for dessert innovation. It was the Soy Sauce Western cuisine. It wasn't trying to be authentic to Europe. It was trying to be delicious for Hong Kong. And there's a specific psychological element here. In the 1950s and 60s, life was hard. Long hours, factory labor, cramped housing. A sweet treat at a Cha Chaan Teng wasn't just food, it was a momentary escape. A 10-minute vacation. As we move into the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, the script changes again. Hong Kong becomes an economic tiger. The factory workers become middle-class professionals. The city becomes wealthy. And when people get wealthy, their taste in dessert changes. They don't just want cheap calories anymore. They want fresh. They want premium. They want mangoes. Enter Phase 3, the rise of the boutique dessert shop. The legend here is a brand called Hui Lao Shan. Started in the 60s as a traditional herbal tea trolley, by the 90s, they pivoted. They invented the mango sago pomelo dessert. This dish is a masterpiece of texture. You have the creamy mango base. You have the chewy sago pearls. And you have the pop of tart citrus from the pomelo. It was lighter than the colonial pastries. It felt fresher. It aligned with a modern, prosperous city that had access to imported tropical fruits and refrigeration. This was the moment Hong Kong desserts started to look less like street food and more like a lifestyle brand. Fast forward to the 21st century. The digital age. Now, food doesn't just need to taste good. It needs to look good. It needs to be grammable. And there is one Hong Kong dessert that was practically genetically engineered for social media stardom, the bubble waffle. Locally, it's called Gai Don Jai, little chicken eggs. Historically, this was a poverty snack. Street hawkers in the 1950s couldn't afford to waste broken eggs, so they mixed them with flour and sugar and cooked them in a special mold over a charcoal fire. It was rough, ready, and sold in a paper bag. But look at it. It has this unique, hexagonal, bubbly structure. It's visually fascinating. Around the 2010s, Savvy entrepreneurs realized that if you took this humble street snack, curved it into a cone, and stuffed it with ice cream, Pocky sticks, marshmallows, and colorful sprinkles, you had a viral hit on your hands. Suddenly, Gaidonjai broke out of Hong Kong. It landed in Chinatown, London. It hit the streets of Soho in New York. CNN covered it. BuzzFeed made videos about it. It became the poster child for Asian fusion dessert. This is Phase 4, global expansion. But there's a tension here. As these desserts go global, they change. In Hong Kong, a waffle is usually eaten plain, crispy outside, soft inside. In America, it's often buried under a mountain of whipped cream. Is it authentic? Maybe not. But it shows the power of Hong Kong culture. It adapts. It survives. It finds a way to be relevant in every era. So, we've covered the history. But why does this matter? Why write a research report or make a video about sugar and flour? Because for millions of people, this isn't just food. It's identity. There is a massive Hong Kong diaspora, people living in Vancouver, Sydney, Manchester, San Francisco. For them, walking into a shop and smelling the aroma of a baking pineapple bun or the scent of evaporated milk tea, it's a time machine. Researchers call these edible memory vessels. They reconnect people to their heritage. We are also seeing a wave of nostalgia in Hong Kong itself. Old-school Cha Chaan Tengs are being celebrated as cultural heritage sites. Young people are learning how to make traditional sweets. In a rapidly changing political and social landscape, these desserts are anchors. They are a reminder of the city's creativity, its resilience, and its unique ability to blend the best of the East and the West. From medicinal soups in the Qing dynasty to viral waffles on TikTok, the evolution of Hong Kong desserts is a masterclass in adaptation. They started as a way to heal the body. They became a cheap luxury for tired workers. They evolved into a symbol of economic prosperity. And now, they are a global ambassador for Hong Kong culture. It proves that while empires fall and economies shift, a good dessert? That lasts forever. I want to know from you, have you tried these desserts? Are you Team Egg Tart or Team Pineapple Bun? And if you're watching from Hong Kong, what's the one local spot we all need to know about? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into culinary history, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We've got a lot more stories to tell. Until next time, stay sweet.